Good afternoon. My name is Carlton Bell, and this is my AI consultant certification presentation. I'm a licensed real estate broker with over 25 years of experience in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area. I'm the president and CEO of iTriumph Enterprises, and I'm an international business coach with Tom Ferry International. I'm John Maxwell certified in behavior analysis, the DIS assessment, and I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. And I'm an AI consultant, which means in practical terms, I don't just study artificial intelligence, I deploy it with real clients in the field on a daily basis. In the next few minutes, I'm going to take you inside an actual coaching session. You're going to see the problem my client was facing, watch me diagnose it using my ADAPT framework, and then watch me build the solution live using ChatGPT and Claude. Now, I coach real estate agents and business owners nationally and internationally. And the question I have more so than any is this: Coach, how do I use AI to actually run my business better? Not theoretically, but practically on a daily basis. Now, that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. Not buzzwords, not concepts. How I sat across from a real professional, diagnosed her workflow problem, and built a working solution during our coaching session. Now, having 25 years of experience in the field has taught me one thing above everything else, and that is structure determines performance. Now, that's the lens I bring to every client, and it's the same lens I bring as an AI consultant. The client that you're about to meet today, her name is Maggie Smith. She's a licensed real estate agent in my coaching program. She's very productive, extremely motivated. She gets deals done. She's an up and coming rock star in her marketplace. She's actually on pace to close over 50 plus transactions this year as a solo agent. However, like most business owners, she starts every morning in a reactive mode. She's checking text messages, scrolling emails, trying to remember what's due today. Maggie has a process, but doesn't really have any structure. And without structure, a process is just a habit. What I like to refer to Maggie's habit is it's just organized chaos. Now, this is what she said to me. She said, every single morning before I start my day, I sit down and I don't know exactly where to start. Yes, I do understand that I have inspections due and I have appraisals and financing contingency deadlines that need to be met. I have contracts and addendums that I need to review. I have clients waiting for me to show them properties, to write contracts and things of that nature. And I have a pipeline of people that I need to follow up with. But at the end of the day, I find myself checking emails, looking at my calendar, reviewing my to-do list, trying to figure out what's due, what's on fire, what needs to be addressed. And although I have an assistant, sometimes I feel like something is still missing. So then she said to me, is there a way for me to wake up every single morning and know exactly what I need to do before that feeling of being overwhelmed actually takes over? Something like a daily briefing, like a command center or something that my assistant and I can review together and she can help me stay on track of my appointments and my follow-ups. Like I said, a morning command center, something that tells me exactly what direction I need to go in. Now, if you work with business owners, senior level managers, or real estate professionals, you've probably met Maggie before. She's every business owner who has missed a deadline because it was buried in an email. She's every salesperson who has lost a deal because no one flagged the contingency date. What I like to refer to is that this is not a Maggie problem. This is a systematic problem that Maggie has. And systematic problems are exactly what AI was built to solve. Now, before I open a single AI tool, I want to show you how I think as an AI consultant, because this is where I believe most people get it wrong. They lead with the technology. I lead with the diagnosis. To do that, I use a framework I developed. Now, I want to give credit where credit is due. Alicia's Little Tada framework is a solid and well-built methodology, and it was part of my inspiration for my thinking. But as a real estate broker and business development coach with over 25 years in the field, I needed something built around how I already work and how I think, how I diagnose the client and the business problems through exploratory questioning before I ever recommend a solution. So I took that spirit of structured AI thinking and built something that belongs to my practice. I call it Adapt. Now, ADAPT stands for A is for architect, D is for discover, A is for analyze, P is for possibilities, and T is to tie it all together. Now, before you do anything, you have to architect this thing. So before I type a single word into an AI prompt, I design the structure. I give the tool its role, its context, and its objective. I'm not asking questions, I'm setting up a system. Then I move into discover. I use the AI to surface what the client actually needs, not the first answer, but the better answer that's underneath that. That is what I'm looking for through the discovery. Then we analyze it. I push past the surface level response and I interrogate the output. I redefine it to come up with a better solution for her. Then the possibilities. I explore what else the analysis could reveal. What is it that my client could actually use in addition to what it is that she's looking for? How do I help her better analyze her actual business and implement things that she actually needs that's going to make her day run a lot smoother? And then we tie it all together. I'll assemble everything into a structured, usable output that serves the client immediately. Now, with Maggie, we did all of those things. I architected her role and context. I discovered what she actually needed, not just a to-do list, but a prioritized morning briefing she can act on before the chaos actually starts. Then I analyzed what that output needed to look like. Something simple, something skimmable, something actionable. I explored the possibilities. Could this be automated? Could it text her phone in the morning? And then I tied it all together into a formatted daily briefing that reads in under 60 seconds every morning before she checks a single message. Now, that's where the diagnosis starts. That's where it begins. So let me show you the solution in real time. So I'm going to switch over into ChatGPT now and show you the prompt that we put into ChatGPT. Now, in real time, I typed the prompt in front of Maggie, but because of time constraints today, I've already prepared it and copied and pasted and posted it inside of ChatGPT. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in and I'm going to start by architecturing the prompt, giving ChatGPT its role and its context before I ask it anything. I told it what Maggie tracks, the inspection periods, the financing contingencies, the appraisal dates, the HOA review windows, and the closing deadlines. Then I gave it a specific format constraints. I wanted to give me something that's at least 250 words or less, give me emojis for urgencies, and then make it skimmable as well. And then the output quality will determine how specific you are with your input. Now let's run the prompt and let's see exactly what ChatGPT gives us at this time. So what you can see happening here is that ChatGPT is producing exactly what we asked it to. A prioritized formatted briefing that Maggie can read in 45 seconds or less and know exactly which need her attention. So as you can see, what it gave us here was an actual outline of her briefing. It told us exactly what's overdue, what deadlines she has, where the sense of urgency is, where her closing dates are, what's past due, deadlines that are due today. It also talks about deadlines that are coming up within the next 1 to 3 days, 4 to 7 days. And then it gave her a priority action list on things that she needs to do. Okay. Now, with that being said, we took the exact same prompt and we ran that same prompt in Claude. So what I want to do now is I'm going to switch over into Claude, run the exact same prompt into Claude, but I tweaked it just a little so it could really narrow down on what it is that we're looking to produce for Maggie. So let's go over into Claude. Now, I've cut and pasted the prompt into the Claude model. This has become the tool that I use primarily for thinking and content partner creation, consultant work, things of that nature. So I gave Claude no word limit here. I asked it to do something extra to include communication language if a deadline is overdue. I also asked it to explain the automation setup and include text messaging capabilities along with email capabilities as well, because Claude handles multi-part layered requests better than most models. Now, that's intentional. Now, let's watch the depth that it takes. So let's run the prompt now. And here we are. It's pulling the prompt and it's loading the transaction data. It's flagging the critical deadlines. It's actually generating the morning briefing report and it's loading the information. So we should have everything that we need here within the next few minutes. So there it is. So here is Maggie's morning transaction briefing. So as you can see, it's a little different here than what we had before. So it gave us the critical deadlines, the actions that's required before the end of the business day. And then it also gave us all active transactions, what to watch for, what needs to be broken down, when the contingencies are due for each property that she has. Now, it also gave us recommendations for first actions in order, how she needs to move, what she needs to work on. Now, this will help simplify her morning. So now she doesn't have to figure out what fires to put out. She knows exactly what's due, what's overdue, what she should be working on, who she should be calling, and which direction she can go in. Now, it also went along here and it set up the Google Apps script. So what I want you to see here is I actually want us to take a look at this on a side-by-side model so you can see exactly what the ChatGPT version looks like as far as the morning command center for Maggie and what the Claude version of the morning command center for Maggie looks like as well. So let's take a look at those right now. So look at the breakdown between the two outputs. ChatGPT gave us clean, fast, formatted checklists, exactly what you want for a daily email digest. That's its strength. Claude gave us more reasoning. It flagged the overdue deadline proactively. It included communication language telling her exactly what to say to the cooperating agent if she needed to have that conversation. And it began explaining the Google Apps script automation. Now, as an AI consultant, our value is knowing which tool to reach for and why. ChatGPT for fast formatted outputs, Claude for complex reason, multi-part layer analysis. Now, there are a couple of things that I've learned here when using these two platforms. Now, the first thing that I want you to know is the prompt is really the product. That these are the things that I've learned, that the prompt is really the product. Your client doesn't need to understand AI. They need a system that works. You build it once, they run it. The value is in what you created, not what they've learned. The second thing that I've learned is context is everything. AI is only as good as the information you give it. Vague questions produce weak results. Clear context produces actionable answers as well as actionable items. And then the third thing that I learned is that you start with one win with the client. Don't try to automate everything at once. Solve one problem at a time. One success builds trust and opens the door for the next. Momentum in AI adoption starts with a single win. And then the fourth thing that I've learned here is that you have to be able to use both tools. Different tools serve different purposes. There is no one size fit all. Use one for speed and one for structure, the other for depth and the other for complexity. Your value is knowing which tool to use and when to use it. And then the last one, the fifth item is resistance is the data. When a client resists, it's not a problem. It's insight. It shows you exactly where their weaknesses are and what they're struggling with. It shows you exactly where they need support. It shows you how to simplify things for them. Our role is to remove the friction and to make the adoption much easier for them to move into AI so they can get what it is that they're looking to obtain out of the business. Remember, in Maggie's case, her role is not to be an AI tech savvy person. Her role is to manage her business, deal with her clients, and sell real estate. That's what she does on a daily basis. Now, what I want to show you is the command center that it actually built for us here. Now, prior to the coaching session, Maggie was the system. She had to open every transaction file, do the date math herself, and figure out what was urgent. That works for her until she has a packed day and something slips through the cracks. Now, using this command center, this is how Maggie's day now starts, with direction, with instruction, with control. She actually opens one document, gets her marching orders, knows what's overdue, what's due today, what's coming up, and who she needs to follow up with. She reads it in under 60 seconds, and before she checks a single text message, she knows exactly which direction she needs to go in. Now, that transformation didn't require Maggie to become an AI expert. It required me, her business development coach and AI consultant, to help her translate technology into results. This is the transaction command center. It's built one time. It runs automatically every morning before 7 o'clock. She gets her text messages and she gets her emails, and she knows exactly where she needs to start. All right. So let's look at this a little deeper. So here is her live morning briefing. Okay. And it looks like this. What you're looking at is the actual briefing that we generated for Maggie this morning from her 3 active transactions that she has. Notice the structure. At the top, critical today. The HOA review period is due. Jerome Patterson's transaction, she needs to talk to him. She has an expired that's due today. And then she also has to make the phone call and check on these things. Below that is the urgent category. 2 days out, the appraisal deadline on the Georgia Avenue property is due on the 19th. She needs to contact her client. She needs to confirm with the lender today that everything is on pace and that the transaction is tracking the way that it should be tracking. Day 3 are the upcoming items. Day 4, and at the bottom line in gold, what you'll see is the first action, the one clear direction, call the Patterson lender and the listing agent on the Huntington Parkway. It gives Maggie clear instructions on exactly what to do and how to push through her day to be more effective, more efficient, so she can focus on the things that she needs to do to be the better professional for her client. Maggie didn't build this. I built it for her. She reads it in under 60 seconds and starts her day with total clarity. But this is the most important part. This, to me, I felt was where the genius just came out of the bubble. So now here's where it gets even more powerful. Because this briefing doesn't just land in Maggie's emails, it fires off text messages to her directly via the phone every morning. No login, no app, no friction. Right at 7:02 in the morning, her phone buzzes. The message reads exactly what you see here on the screen. Good morning, Maggie. Critical today. HOA review expires on the Huntington Parkway. Call the Pattersons and the listing agent now. Then it gives you the urgent items, the upcoming items, and then it's signed by the transaction coordinator who created it for her. Now, here's the 4-part setup that I walk through with every single client. Step 1, Maggie's transaction data lives in her Google Sheet. One row per transaction, deadlines in their own columns. That's the data source. Step 2, the Zapier monitors that sheet on a one-time base triggers every morning at 6:55. It reads the data, checks whether any deadlines are within the threshold that I designed today, tomorrow, 3 days out, 7 days out, etc. The third thing that it does is within that when that threshold is hit, Zapier passes the transaction data to Claude through the API. Claude formats the alert, not a raw data dump. It gives you professional language, urgency labels, clients' names, and addresses, and then gives her a clear first action on what she needs to take. Zapier routes that formatted message through Trello and fires a text to Maggie's phone, and her process is done. The 4 tools that I utilized to help Maggie bring this structure and organization to her business infrastructure was her Google Sheets, Zapier, Claude, and Twilio, which is a text messaging program. There is no code set up for her. It's built one time. Everything runs every morning without Maggie even thinking about it. Now, to wrap things up, added a Google Calendar to the mix for her. Every contractual deadline appears as color coded on her calendar as far as events are concerned. Her pipeline isn't just a spreadsheet anymore. It lives inside the tool that she uses to run her business every single day. So she doesn't have to go anywhere in particular, no additional apps or anything of that nature. What Claude has done is designed this whole command center for her, word by word, day by day, email by email, text message by text message, problem solved, solution taken care of. The real value here is this: it scales. Whether she has 3 transactions or 10 plus transactions, system runs with the same precision. Every morning it generates a timestamp recorded in her inbox, which matters. So if a client ever says you didn't get this document to us on time, or you didn't call us by this time, she has a timestamp there telling her exactly when it took place and when she took care of it. In essence, Maggie stops being the system becomes the system, and that's what AI powered automation actually does for the business owner. This is our role. This is our value. We're not here to teach people how AI works. We're here to make AI work for them. Maggie now starts every day with clarity instead of chaos. One prompt, one system, one transformation, built once, running every morning. The ADAPT framework is the tool I use daily when working with my clients for exploratory perspectives. I'm Dr. Carlton Bell, cohort 8, and this has been my AI consultant certification presentation. Thank you.